So in this video, what we're going to cover is our block layout and visibility settings. Should be quite quick, it's just turning things on and off. We've already covered data display settings. We'll have a look at some of these, which is part of layout and visibility, but more focused on just the records itself, the data display. We've already covered the reordering and the amount of numbers you want to put in the columns. We've covered the user restricting data, and we've covered manage and build templates. So we'll also be looking at the uploading, which is a way to control your Excel uploads and a way to do custom formatting for them as well. We're going to cover in a separate module all our stuff around automation and schedulers. And we've also already covered a few of these things, but we'll be working through it. We're nearly finished our block settings, and some of these things are just informational, so we can talk about them as well. So let's have a look at our block layout and visibility settings. The most obvious one is this one, the use customized and full width layout. That's actually the same setting as this, so this is a handy way to access that setting. So when I click this, it unticks this one. And same when I tick this and I scroll back up, it reticks this one. It's literally the same thing, it's just a handy way to access it. So it's just makes the full width or not full width. The show counts area, I believe we've shown in previous videos. Let's have a quick look. That's the counts area there. And I untick that. And as you can see, you can't see it anymore. The import data from Excel. Same thing, show import data option. And let's go back out of it. And as you can see, it's gone. So it's a nice way to tidy up your blocks. So this one is handy for larger forms or forms where you want to show the user a bit more structure. So what we'll do here is we'll have to, just to demonstrate this one, we'll do full width layout, and we're going to have to just do a bit of moving around. We'll make a few grids. We'll move a few fields. We'll add one more row, and that's fine. We'll just add one field here. As you can see, when you're building, you can see these dotted lines. Quite simply, that setting allows the user to see them as well. I'll just see we didn't turn it on yet, actually. So show element borders around block on the front end. So the front end is the front end, the user side. As you can see, you can now see these elements, those borders. So it does add a bit of structure to the page for people that might want that, you know. It's quite optional, obviously. Not everybody likes it. Close the form after submitting. This, I suppose, is if you want to close this particular form after you've submitted a record. As you can see, it shows just the data once I've submitted the form. So there's another setting over here, which is in our visibility layout, which is hide form on page load. I guess it's good to see that because it's actually related to closing the form after submitting, in the sense that when I load the page now, there's no record, there's no form, which can be nice for some people. They want to see the records just, and then you want to do your add new record, whatever press submit, and then that closes the form again, so you're back on track. We'll continue going through them. They're quite quick because they're just literally hiding and showing things. We'll ignore the hide calendar for now. We did touch it anyway before. So you can hide the advanced report option, except for those with role access. So we'll just quickly have a look at that permission. So we'll do is go to manage. We'll check the operator role. So the name is a bit different. It's called raw data and counting reports. I'll just X out of it there. I had turned it on before starting the video. Raw data and count reports. It's the same permission that people need to be able to see this link here, which is raw data and counting reports. So I've given the operator role that permission. So when I log out and log back in, employee account, they have the operator role. Product returns, receiving. I can still see the advanced reports. Now let's log back out. And we remove that role again, or permission. Press submit. No, wrong block. Receiving, and I scroll down to the bottom. Now it's pretty neat because almost everything is hidden. So as you can see, there's no more advanced reports option for this user. So that does cover that permission as well. So we move on in the rest of our visibility settings. So we're going back to receiving. So there's a few more little small ones here. These are just, again, for cleaning up, like hide, edit, and filtering, hide per page option, and hide oldest to newest checkbox. So as you can see, the checkbox for editing and filtering is gone. The checkbox for reversing the order, the oldest to newest, is gone. And there's also a drop-down field where you can choose how many per page you want in your list, and that's gone too. I'll just put them back on so we can see what was hidden. So it's back now. Show edit links and filtering. Here's our per page, and here's our tick to show oldest to newest. So it's just, again, it's tidying up. When you don't think something's ever going to be needed or used, it's nice to use that these settings. So the next one I'll explain is the hide cannot be empty rule asterisk on fields. So we have the rule where things can't be empty. So cannot be empty. I'll put that on the part number and I'll press submit. And I'll go to the front end. And you see the asterisk here. That asterisk automatically appears if a field has the cannot be empty rule. So it's the typical asterisk you see when filling out a form for required fields. This quite simply just hides it, that's all. Still makes it required, still everything, but just sometimes people don't want it. So now we have all the button texts. This is quite. What I'll do is I will go through them all in one go because they're quite self-explanatory. All the buttons on your page, it's possible to change the text. So here's the add new button. So this is the button at the top of the screen when the form is closed. So we'll say make new record. Submit button text. This is the submit button. So this is the form when you're submitting the form. So we'll just say add now. Update is when you're editing a record. So edit this record. And remove me for delete. So this is the delete button, the red one that you see when you're editing a record. You can also hide all the checkboxes if you want, or sorry, hide the buttons if you wish. So now we'll go to the front end. So as you can see, make new record. And here's your add now that we saw a while ago. And when we go to edit a record, that's your remove me and edit this record. So again, it's just a nice way of putting your own touch on it. And like I said, you can also hide the buttons. So let's say hide add new button, hide submit button, hide update, hide delete. So now this is just a handy way of having just pure maybe data on the screen. Let's say the records might have been created by a cross block or something from a different block, and this could be just a reporting page for people. The final thing in the block layout and visibility settings is the show back button instead of breadcrumbs, which can be nice as well for navigating. So it just shows a back button instead of the breadcrumbs. We're probably looking at improvements in the future to give more control over this kind of stuff, the navigation at the top of the page. It's especially nice for mobile users. So what we'll do is we'll keep going through these settings because they're very similar to block layout and visibility, and that's the data display settings. We're going to skip these because some of these are ones that are coming in the future, or ones that are just kind of legacy that we won't be working on. So the hide show more links. So let's for speed, let's have the block open in a different tab. So this is the show more link. This is what gives you the ability to see the record. Quite simply, this hides it. So when I refresh, it's gone. There's no way to see the record. Show previews of uploaded images and data. We actually touched that in a few modules ago. That's where you can see the images in the data. So, well, we happen to have an image, so we might as well cover it while we're here. Just as a quick recap. So you can see the image. Hide user ID and hide timestamp in data. As you can see, when the form is closed, you have basically the timestamp and user ID. This only is like that when the form is closed, or in this case, it's complete. There's no way to even open it because I've hidden the other buttons. Put it simply, this hides them. And as you can see, the more I'm doing this, the more the form is cleaning up. Reduce space and font size for data results. I'll just click this and show you exactly. It tightens up everything basically. This can be handy if you have a lot of data. We'll come back to this in the future. This is a live data without refreshing the screen. It's kind of a beta project that you'd have to contact us for us to set it up for a specific block. Allow word break in the data. To show you this, we'll have to turn back on a few things actually. We'll just turn on the add new button and submit button. And we'll do a piece of data with we'll say a very, very long string. So I'm going to say the shipment number. As you can see, it's really long. And we'll submit that. So not very usable, as you can see. And we'll just do the allow word break. So when I refresh, it just neatens it up and puts it in a more stable, manageable view. Set the default number of results to show. This is quite handy. The default is 10, but you can actually change this. Let's say 5, and I refresh. So now it only loads 5 records. And obviously when you go through these pages, it just keeps loading 5. Same with show all. We'll show all of them. We probably don't recommend that unless it's like a list, like a master list that you'll never be changing or something. So that shows every single record. You can also sort the data. So by default, it shows the latest record at the top. So it's effectively descending order. So like you'll always see the newest record. We don't have great data here to kind of demonstrate the ordering, but we can try the auto generate. So long story short, with this setting, you can actually reorder how the data is appearing. And this is very handy when you have a master list, maybe with customers or whatever. So I'm going to have to go a bit further here. I picked the auto generate one. What I'll do is I'll actually go out to full screen. As you can see, it ordered, we didn't have records here, so these are not applicable. And it ordered it by the auto generate. Here's another example. Let's order by serial number. Not a great example, but we might as well show it anyway, because we can't see very clearly the, again, NA starts off with, but we'll go down. Starts with the R, and then serial, and then it knows which ones it's based on the string. It can automatically detect if it's a date field, which is quite handy, and it can detect if there's numbers as well. Reverse data from ascending to descending. So by default, it shows the latest one first, but you can change that so that it shows the oldest one first. And it still considers the order. So in this case, I have the serial number ordered, but we've changed the direction. And as you can see, tick to show, that's automatically clicked. So I'm going to turn that off and refresh here. It's unclicked automatically. So here's another feature. Not everyone wants to see NA, which stands for not applicable. Some people want their own one here, so you could just say no value, and let's refresh. And what you see there instead is no value. And there is an option where you actually literally type blank to make it blank. So as you can see, anywhere where there isn't a record, it's just leaving it blank. There are those three dots there. That's because we have the limit on this. It's probably an improvement we could make on our side. But any blank records, not showing NA, not showing. If you're seeing NA, it's probably because the value was actually resaved at the time as NA, and that's something to keep note of. So ideally, when you're setting up the block at the start, you will have that kind of taken care of. So for example, now I'm editing this, and that's blank. It's not showing NA. We've went through the colors before. We could just do one example and green. And here you can delete whatever ones you've done. I just happen to notice if the plain data one here is called example. So now they're green because it says example. And that covers all the data display settings. We've already covered the user restricted data settings, and anything that isn't legacy basically we've covered. We've also covered manage and build templates. We have been through that at the start of the video. The final thing we're going to look at is our data uploading. So it's possible to upload data in Blocworx. I'm going to delete all data here because it's getting a bit messy. And we need to start turning a few things back on because they're all hidden now. We're going to go back to our show import. Oh yeah, it was looking right at me. So let's import some data. It's important to note that you need a format to be able to import data into this. And Blockworks provides you that template straight away with the click of a button. So it gives you this file, which is the exact file format you need. So it uses these field slugs to target exactly what field it's supposed to populate. So it says serial 1, 244, part number, part 001. We leave the image. We'll type in our own auto, but we'll get on to more fancy options in a minute. Example, plain, example, normal. I'm going to save this. We'll just actually just do 2 or 3 just so we can see a bit more. Right, let's upload. So using the file we just created from the template, I import data. As you can see, it imported everything. I'm going to turn off that fields setting there that's restricting it. So parameters, and we just put it up to 200. Small issue there that we'll have to fix. That's just showing the dots anyway, even when it's fully used up the string. So anyway, as you can see, I imported data just exactly the way it was instructed of me using the template that I just exported. There are, however, much more advanced settings with this uploader. And you as a no-coder can decide if we're going to apply these or not. So the first thing we're going to look at is apply block initialization values. An initialization value is something where we have default values or we have auto-generate fields. Anything where on the block the value appears by itself. So for example, auto-generate, that's one. Plain data, that's one. So I've opted to apply these. So let's just get a new template and let's just say serial 5 inbound shipment, doesn't matter, part 004 image example. And what we'll do is we're going to delete, we don't even have to delete them, they can just be blank, but we'll delete them anyway. The plain data and oh yeah, this one normal. I'll leave this one plain data and I'll delete the other one just to show both examples. And we'll just add a few more records. Serial 6. Now, let's import that. So we're still ordered by our serial number, so I might just fix that because it's just going to get a bit confusing about what our latest record was. Default time, I'll change it back to 25 or something so that we can see. So as you can see, I uploaded an Excel file. This column wasn't even in it, and this had a default value of example, and the system knew to apply these because I had that item checked, that option. So let's go back to it again. And that's apply block initialization values. Very handy tool for things like auto generation and plain data fields and stuff like that. The next one is a big one, and this is what makes Blocworx extremely powerful, because everything you can do in a block can actually be applied during an upload as well. And that's our field actions, parameters, rules, live field activity. So let's take an example. Let's say I'm going to create a field that's going to populate from the part number. So we'll call it part number extract. And I'm going to put a rule here. And we'll say the rule is populate local field with part of this field. So the one thing we never did in our last, when we went through the rules, was show you this one, which is the tick to use the last X amount of characters, which is a bit different to picking the exact characters we want from the string. And what it does is it generates this tag, which we leave there, and we say, well, we want the last 3. So the local field, so yeah, we want the last 3 characters from whatever we type into part number. And the local field to populate is part number extract. So let's just show you it in the front end. So I would say part test 005, and I hit return and we get 005, the last 3 characters. And then when I submit that, we have that record. It's going to be hidden there. I'm going to have to show that as well. Go into data display settings and we'll just bring that up to 30 or something so it doesn't stop. So that's one rule, and I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to do a math field. So we'll just say number 1 well, yeah, number field 1, number field 2, and we'll say maths. And we'll add these together. Number field 1 plus number field 2. Oh, look, you know what? We'll leave that. That's fine. And you'll see what I'm getting at now with the Excel uploader options. Part 888. Hit return. And now let's just do 4 plus 10. We get 14. These are nothing to do with each other. That's fine. I just want to show you two separate examples in the one upload. Click add now. So when we go back down to our uploader, we have our field actions. I'm going to turn it off just for a second and do an upload. So we'll generate the template again. It's a bit neater because we're creating fields all the time. Obviously, a customer user won't be doing this all the time. They're going to have their own serial number, inbound shipping number, part 999, auto generate, doesn't matter. Plain data doesn't matter because that's going to be, that's an initialization. So sample, part number extract, we'll leave that blank. We'll put in 5 and 8, and we have our maths field, and it return, and I'll upload this. Now let's look at the data. As you can see, part number extract is blank. 5 and 8. 5 multiplied by 8, or sorry, 5 plus 8 is supposed to be 13. There's nothing there. Why is that? Because it was just a standard data upload, which might be what people want a lot of the time. But sometimes we don't. Sometimes we want to trigger everything and actually literally carry out a process using an upload. So now we're going to apply our field actions. And this is where things get really cool and interesting, because let's upload the same file. We'll just do one more record just so we can see what we're doing. Serial 10. And let's say part 777. 7 doesn't matter how many. We'll just say 10, 90. Let's upload this. Now, as you can see, it's applying everything. So firstly, it extracted the part number, the last 3 characters. Then it also added 10 with 90, which gave us our 100. Same with this value, added 5 with 8. Keeping in mind what you can do with our rules and the extent at which you can do things. You can do counts, you can get values from other blocks, all the parameters you can do, all the field settings, all that can be triggered using the upload, which allows you to nearly build an automatic system for yourself. So we're going to create an assignment in this module. At the end of it, it'll be part of our product returns module overall, which will require you to basically fetch a bunch of data and do a bunch of things when you upload an Excel file. Finally, there's the pre-submit data feature. So when you submit a record, there's several things that happen as well. One of them is, for example, if you have a mail alert field set up and you have it set to do it on submission, that's an example of something. So let's get ourselves quickly set up with that. I'm going to use Mailinator again. So BW demo. It's going to be an empty inbox. Create a quick mail alert. We'll just do normal text mail alert. And we'll just put in the user bwdemo@mailinator.com. Add alert. Oh, need the alert type. All this stuff will be gone anyway by the time you're using it. Some of those requirements I explained in previous videos. So now we have our mail alert. Let's just do the mail alert field. BW demo, apply on submission, and that's it. Let's just test one first without the upload. So hit add now. Hit add now. And we'll check our mailinator and we can see BW demo. Let's just get a tiny bit fancier in the mail alert. And we'll use the dynamic editor. We'll find the value. We'll just say part number. Part number is, and as you're aware, you can use the field slugs. So let's do another one. Add now. Go back to the inbox. And as you can see, it got the part number. Now, let's apply that setting that we talked about. So apply some pre-submit data features. It's the same with cross-block, but we won't do the cross-block here. But yeah, you can actually apply a cross-block during an upload, but also the mail alerts. Now let's do a new upload. We can use the same record, but we'll just add one more. Just change them around a bit. So now we go back to the front end and let's trigger the upload. So this is where things get quite interesting because now it's processing everything. And when I go to the inbox here, you'll even start to see them come in. Look. So now when we click on this one, part number 999, part 999, part 777, which reflects, or maybe I clicked on one too quickly. Yeah, that's our 3 records, and the data is uploaded here. So basically, you can literally trigger the entire Blocworx functionality using an upload. And the reason it's important to understand that is you can essentially build automatic functionality, and soon enough you'll start learning that it's even possible to do that in other ways, not just through Excel uploads, but through schedules and automation, which is pretty exciting because it means you can start creating things that run by themselves. So the final part of this video is actually going to be custom fields and custom order of fields. So the idea of this is the default behavior is you have to have an upload file with this exact format and these exact field slugs. Now they can be in any order, but still that's still not always much use. Quite often you're going to be working with either maybe other staff or customers who have an Excel file and they don't have any scope to change it to facilitate Blocworx. And for that reason, you need to change Blocworx to facilitate their Excel file. So let's say, for example, they have a file. We'll make a brand new one. Let's say, for example, they upload part numbers and serial numbers every day. And they just have a raw list that they export from some software or something. So it's like something like this. And let's just say these are the serial numbers. So just say this is the file you have to work with. Let's just say upload file. We're going to save it in our downloads. To use this, to upload this to Blocworx, you would have to turn on this setting and tell Blocworx, well, what is the actual order of what's being uploaded? And in this case, it's the field slug, part number, and the next one is serial number. So you comma separate it and serial number. The reason we have this helper here is you can get started by copying and pasting this, and it'll be the exact order of, you know what I mean. If it happens to be this order, great, but at least it allows you to move around whatever you want. But I think just doing two fields is easier for now, so I'm going to show part number and serial number. There's another important feature here. So sometimes customers or your staff or whatever don't have a headers here, and sometimes they do. And in this case, they don't. So I'm saying first row has data. Seems to be an issue there that hit that one. So I'm just going to put that in again. So part number and serial number, and click update. It's probably because I didn't click update the first time. Now let's go to upload this file. So we're not generating template, we're just going straight to upload file. Click import. Keep in mind it's going to be a bit slow because we have the email alerts coming in as well. So now they're kind of flooding in. The data got uploaded, and here we are with our serial numbers, our auto-generated numbers, and it knows which parts and what are the serial numbers, even though the order was different and even though we'd no titles or no field slugs. And it knew that based on setting the order in the edit side. And that sums up this video. It covered the bulk of our visibility kind of settings of turning things on and off, and covered our manage uploading data. We'll be digging into this even more in future videos and creating entire automated processes. Thank you. Bye bye.